make sure before you make a comment or act on something that you know 100% what goes on. I give you this example. If I'm on the top of the roof and some camera crew's filming me and these little kids, they're crying, they're like 8 years old, and they're crying and screaming, and I grab them and I throw them off a building, and I keep throwing them off a building, you will put a bullet in my head. But then suddenly the camera pans out. And then we realize the building is on fire. And downstairs is the fireman. And I'm throwing these kids to safety on those big freaking pillows that they have. So 10 seconds ago, you want to shoot me in the head. But now you knew the whole truth, and now suddenly I'm a hero.
Welcome to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Shahid Durrani. Today we have with us Bas Rutten. Bas is a former professional mixed martial artist, actor, and a commentator and inventor. You guys know him. He is a famous guy. So welcome to our show, Bas.
Boom. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. I was just telling you before we started recording about having to watch a lot of Kevin James material, and I always saw you part of his work. And especially Here Comes a Boom, how you were training was just hilarious. I said, one day I'm going to meet these guys. And I just looked over my schedule and I see you there and I said, oh my God. So like you said, you ask and receive, right?
That's it. You just do that. And Kevin, we go back a long time now. I met him within 3 months when I came to America already. So that's 25 years now. And we just became friends. I started training him, but then we realized we have the same personality. And since then, it's been very fun.
You guys are very good together, and he's hilarious. He's a great guy, too. I don't know him, but I just know as I see him in the movies, he just seems like a very kind-hearted person.
Oh, you listen, they always say, my head, if we're together, it's all the freaking time to say, before whatever it is, the plane or in the car, you have pain in your neck from laughing, and because it's a nonstop thing with him. It's unbelievable. He cannot turn it off. Whatever he sees, he finds the comedy in it, and it's so funny, man.
That's hilarious. I'm so grateful to have you on the show, Bas. It's so wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to learning from you. I noticed that inventor. Can you speak about the invention part? What are you doing?
So I wasn't, I came up with a bunch of products, but I was a severe asthma patient. And at every 5 weeks, I needed to be a week in bed because I couldn't breathe, couldn't eat. So that was very severe. But I also did track and field. And after every after every asthma attack, I would resume my track and field. And needless to say, running was always best for me. 400 meters, 800 meters, 1500 was bad. And I wanted to be the decathlon guy. But that after an attack, I would always increase my running times. And it blew me away. I had no clue why it was until I saw a painting or a drawing at the doctor's office on the wall. And it showed a pair of lungs. And well, as a kid and as an adult as well, you think the infection is in your lungs. It's not. The infection is in the airways that go to the lung. And it saw one infected airway and it showed a healthy one. And I go, oh man, I've been breathing in. I've been working out my lungs. I thought at the time that your lungs would do the work, but they didn't do anything. I've been training my lungs to get stronger because I have to pull air into that little tiny area. So now, after a week when that's open, my body is much stronger with breathing. And that's why I bring these running times. So why don't I make a thing that can control the air intake? And many years later, I was 14. And when I think 12 years ago, I started making it. I still had asthma. I still carried an inhaler with me everywhere I went. And once I started training with the prototype, 3 weeks later, I could throw my asthma inhaler away. I go, whoa, this is crazy. So I called my buddy and I said, hey, I'm going to send you something. I want you to use it because he has asthma. 8 days later, he calls me. I want to sell him in Europe. He lives in Holland. I said, what's going on? He says, my asthma is going. I go, dude, mine too. This is crazy. We're up to something now. And then we started experimenting. Then I got in contact with a famous breathing doctor, Dr. Melissa Ferret. She started measuring my chest expansion. And there were numbers that she's never seen before. She goes, how can you expand your chest so much? I said, I'm using this thing. You know, this is literally the thing. And she started to check it out. And then we realized it's all inspiratory muscle training. I didn't invent this. This has been around for a very long time. And every Olympian endurance athlete is using inspiratory muscle training because your breathing muscles are the one that breathe for your lungs. Your lungs are just two bags. There's not a muscle in your lungs. If you can't expand your chest, you die. And the chest expansion is done by your diaphragm and by your intercostal, the muscles in between your ribs. And the more you can expand your chest, the easier it is for you to fill up your lungs. And with asthma, and because I have allergies, I will still wheeze, but my breathing is so strong right now, I don't even need an inhaler to breathe through it because it just goes straight through. Because my breathing muscles, I've been doing it 5 years now, every single day. So I'm at a really high level right now. But to give you an idea, breathing IQ, and you people at home can test that, you go to thebreathingiq.com and then test yourself what your breathing IQ is. And 95% of you will have a breathing IQ probably of an E or an F. That's how bad it is, because 95% of people breathe wrong. I had 100% is good. I had 182. So they were like, oh, what's going on? And then they realized it was this thing. And then they put it in a book. And then people start building attention. And now I have published medical journals backing up every claim that I ever made. So if somebody goes, it's a gimmick, I say, go to my website, click on science. And there you have a whole drop-down menu with published medical journals, asthma, COPD, anxiety, PTSD, balance, endurance, cystic fibrosis. It keeps going. I never had an idea it would do so many good things, but apparently it's doing it, and the sales are going right now. So we're very blessed.
That's incredible. Where can anyone purchase this? On Amazon, or is it on your site you mentioned?
It's on Amazon as well. And you can go to o2trainer.com. If you go to o2trainer.com, click on how it works. And there's a video, and I will highly suggest it's a 5.5 minute video. Watch that video because it will change you. Once you realize that your lungs are not doing anything, you got to go, whoa, what's going on? And once you realize that you stand in front of a mirror, I say, take a deep breath. You do this. You're breathing completely wrong. 4 to 6 of these breaths is the same as one horizontal breath, a diaphragmatic breath. So once you start, and 95% of us is breathing wrong. These are tests out there. You can Google this. So once you start breathing and using your diaphragm muscles, your breathing muscles, which, by the way, you have 11 pounds of breathing muscles, then suddenly you get way more chest expansion and you can put way more air in, up to 5 times more air if you breathe like this. That's how big of a difference it is. It's great. It blows me away that only the Olympians are using it. I don't know why not more fighters are doing it and athletes. Because we know as well, right? If you have 2 teams, let's say soccer playing teams that are equally skilled, the team with the most stamina is going to win because they can keep pushing the action constantly to have the most endurance. So it's stamina in an endurance sport is king, right? That's what they always say.
Yeah.
Stamina is king. Work out the breathing muscles and you get the back.
You did pretty well in your career with that problem.
Now, when you see me breathe on my website, I have videos of me in a world title fight. I'm breathing like this. I'm breathing completely wrong. Like that with me, it's completely. Yeah. If I go on the back really hard, 8 rounds, I come out of a round like this. It blows my mind every single time when I do it. That's how much the difference is. And people just need to see it. And so we publish medical journals.
So Bas, that's amazing. It's surprising that we don't naturally do the breathing properly.
We do.
That's what's getting me, because you're saying 95% not breathing. The breathing is such a natural thing. That means majority of people out of the womb and to grow up, we breathe the wrong way. That's insane.
No, that's not true. We breathe the perfect way until we're 5.5 years of age. You can also look for tests out there. And once you're 5.5, what happens? Well, you go to school. And now you sit all day in the class. You also start, you go to the doctor. And the doctor says, take a deep breath. It puts a stethoscope here. Take a deep breath. You go, oh, here's where my lungs are. Your lungs are not here. Your lungs are here. Here, the whole body is your lungs. The most dense oxygen-rich part of your lungs is below. It's very important. And then the big one is coming in. You might be laughing right now, but there's seriously a reason. You start getting interested in the other sex. And you realize, oh, if you're a boy and you like girls, if I breathe through my belly, they might think I'm fat. And they automatically start breathing using their chest. That's literally, they look at superheroes and they see all these apps and they don't want to breathe anymore. And that takes that perfect breath away, which we all had. Just look at a baby. If you look at a baby, you see the diaper expanding. They breathe perfect. And look at the best fighters in the world. Like the most
Yeah.
stamina. If you Tony Ferguson, he's known for stamina. Look at him if he sits in the corner. He's like this. You don't see any movement in his chest. So that's the reason he has such a great stamina.
So I think I breathe through my chest too. Like I just feeling
Yeah,
more
I
of my
was doing it.
chest movement.
I was a
Yeah,
professional athlete fighting for world titles, and I was
yeah,
breathing long. So chances you are breathing long very high.
yeah. Wow. And it's funny how our environment has an effect, even the way we breathe, which is crazy.
It is. It's
You know?
really crazy.
Yeah.
But everybody says the same thing that you say. Hey, but listen, wait a minute. We came out of the womb. I know how to breathe. You don't have to tell me how to breathe. And then you see something that you do a Google search, how many people are breathing incorrect? And then you go, oh, then you go to the mirror, you say, oh, take a deep breath. You see yourself doing this. This is wrong. If that happens, your breathing can be so much better. Think about this. This is a thing that I always tell people. So how does your stamina increase? I know you work out really hard. Well, what happens in the body that makes your stamina increase? I find the answer. When you train a muscle over and over again, it becomes more efficient. And the word efficient already says it. It uses less oxygen. And that's why your stamina increases. Okay, good. What happens when you're gassing? And this is another example. Let's say you're running a hill, very steep hill, and suddenly it hit like you hit a wall. You just start gassing. That is your body who starts directing oxygenated blood, and it takes it away from your legs, and it sends it to the number one priority in your body, which are your breathing muscles. Because 3-4 minutes without breathing, you're going to be dead. Okay. Now, with that information all together, what if I work out my 11 pounds of breathing muscles so they don't have to steal the blood anymore from my other limbs? So they have more endurance. Now you delay the moment you're gassing from here all the way to the top. But that is why every Olympian endurance athlete is actually doing inspiratory muscle training.
But it's not so common in UFC and martial arts.
Not yet. I have no clue how is that possible. You see the guys with the best stamina, and I always say it, just look at them when they go back to the corner and see how they breathe. And the biggest test, like I said, go to the breathing IQ. So not breathing IQ, thebreathingiq.com. And then you can test yourself. And I'll guarantee you, you're not going to score high. 5% does. And those 5%, by the way, probably have breathing classes.
And this is also going to help in entrepreneurship. When you're running a business, you will find that you will have more energy throughout the day if you breathe properly.
Sleeping, everything is sleep apnea. It helps for everything. Don't believe me. Believe the published medical journals made by freaking doctors. It does everything. It lowers your blood pressure. You're stimulating the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a nerve that is involved in every human action, physical human action in the body. So also for your organs, it helps the organs. Also your diaphragm massages your intestines below here. It massages your heart on the top. It drops all the way down. It's a thin dome-shaped muscle tendon. It looks like a cap, like a swimming cap almost. It's attached to the bottom part of your rib cage. And once it's attached there, what it does is it drops down. This is what the diaphragm does. Drops down. It's very powerful, very thin, but very powerful. But from that, this happens inside of your body. It expands because it drops down. And that together with the intercostals will expand your chest. And that chest expansion, that creates a vacuum between your body and your lungs. And that vacuum opens up your lungs. Think about this. Your chest doesn't expand because you put air in it. Your chest expands, and that is how you pull the air into your lungs. Once you understand that, and you know there's 11 pounds of muscles doing that, and you start working out those muscles, life-changing.
Oh, man. Definitely going to check that out. And you're saying it's going pretty well. Is this available throughout the world? Is it global or just US?
It's global. We focus here on America, Canada, in Europe. It's my buddy, the guy who also, as well, was gone. And he's also doing every day. That guy also built up a habit, and it's really hard. He's a really tough guy. The problem with people, what they have in the beginning, it works against stamina. And I explained to you why. So if you have the auto trainer, you're working out your breathing muscles, what you should do is do your breathing exercise, which takes only 4 minutes, maximum 4.5 minutes. Do that in the evening after you worked out. And the reason is this: you're working out your 11 pounds of breathing muscles. You make your breathing muscles tired. So if you go from making them tired right away to run, yeah, you're going to have a problem because you just already made your breathing muscles tired. But if you do it in the evening or in the afternoon after your last workout, now you give your muscles time to recoup and get stronger. Now, then 4 to 6 weeks later, with me, it's the opposite. So what I do right now, I do 30 repetitions. I actually do just 5 minutes straight plus of 30 repetitions. And there's an exercise that comes with it. You can all find it on the website. And then I do my endurance because we found out in the preliminary studies that your second wind is actually your diaphragm being warmed up. So now if I do it and I warm up my diaphragm and then I start doing my endurance, with boxing workout, I don't even open my mouth anymore. It's just the difference is just bizarre compared to what it was before.
That's incredible, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's a real eye opener. Definitely going to be checking out the breathing IQ, correct.com.
Yes.
All
Go and check
right,
it out.
good. We'll definitely check. Another question I have for you, basically, as an actor, you stand out to catch the attention of producers in Hollywood, for example. What strategies have you used to differentiate yourself in all the noise that entrepreneurs could apply some similar tactics to stand out in their market?
That's the thing. You hear every person who sees me. Apparently, I have a really weird personality, completely different than some people here in America. And it was
Yeah.
already also in Holland. So I know I'm an old guy,
Yeah.
but people seem to like it. And the reason they like
Yeah.
it's very
Cool.
simple. And every single person
Yeah.
who meets me will say the same thing. Like, this is what
Yeah.
you get. So I'm not
Yes.
different. If I'm suddenly up this line, I'm exactly the same. And people, once they start realizing, they go, oh, this guy is real. So when I do an acting job, like for instance, Here Comes the Boom, I was just, the biggest compliment I got was, hey, you just played yourself. And I said,
Yeah.
oh, thank you, man. And he goes, thank you. I go, yeah, that's one of the biggest compliments you can get because my acting coach a long time ago, because I started acting in 97 just to be ready, he said, at the moment that people tell you that you look exactly the same, that you are exactly the same as you are in real life, he says, that is a really big moment because that means you're completely feeling good in your own skin. And that's why your acting is
Good.
flowing. So once they told me, man, you're
Yeah.
just like yourself, I go, whoa, I just got a really big compliment. I was very pleased with that.
That's awesome. That's a really great point, boss, because you mentioned flow. Because now you're basically going with the flow because you're the same way at home, you're the same way in a park, you're the same way out acting and fighting, whatever anybody interacts with, the same thing. And I can resonate with that. That's the model that I picked up in my transformation. Before, I was just being the person that the other person wanted to see unconsciously. But then when I actually became self-aware, I realized what I was doing. So now it's so much easier just being you, no matter where you go and what you do. It's just, there's no stress, there's no tactic behind it, there's no effort behind it. You're just naturally that way. Some people will like it, some people won't. That's not your problem. And entrepreneurship could do the same.
I don't ask you
Authenticity,
to be
right?
perfect. Yeah, no, that's not it. So, but that's it. Just be nice, calm, and relaxed. It's so tiring, I think, if you constantly have to put up a face.
It
Even
is.
different on camera. I go, oh man, it made me freaking tired. I had a live TV show. We interviewed a lot of fighters for 9 years on TV, like 431 shows we did. And you
Yeah.
see them, some of them, you see them in the green room, they're waiting and they're all like, up, 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 up. And as soon as they go online, they start using profanity and they start, and I go, dude, what are you doing? Why aren't you not to say, we're just in the room, in the green room? That is tiring to me. I wouldn't like that. That's why you don't see me do a lot of acting channels. I like to pick my things if it comes. I don't focus on it. I like to do comedy and anything Kevin does. Sign me up because it's always fun. I mean, the TV show we did, Wait. I did 21 episodes on that one. That was a real fun show to do. So,
King of Queens?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
called
remember.
Kevin Can't Wait. It was his second show on CBS.
Oh, yes.
CBS, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, you guys do very well together. So, can you share the mindset or the mental preparation when you went into a fight can you have a comparison for an entrepreneur basically going out and growing their business on a daily basis and you going out for a fight? Is there any similarities? You have experience with both. So any similarities that you carry over from your years of professional fighting into the business world when it comes to mindset?
Yeah, 100%. Everything's the same principle. It's very simple. Everything is preparation. You know what I just want to say, and I forgot, but this is a nice way of saying it. So you can only imagine if you're a tough guy and you're walking on the streets and by yourself, and suddenly there's a group of beautiful ladies standing there, like 6 of them, and they all stop talking and they start looking at you while you're walking by. 95% starts walking different, start getting a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You're not yourself anymore. And that's what happens. Or you got to be really solid in your shoes. But guess what? I'm not that. A lot of people don't have that. Oh, boss, you're not that. No, with me, I just got to work it. I got to work it. So imagine Kobe Bryant. He stands in front of the freaking hoop and he needs to throw it. And this shot of the game. It's the last second. If he lands it, they're going to win the game. If he doesn't land it, they're going to lose the game. Has big pressure. Can you handle that pressure? And that's the same with fighting and with every other job as well. In fighting, there's guys who are really good in the gym. We call them the dojo fighters. I used to be one like that. When I was kickboxing, I was a dojo fighter. I was really good in the gym, but in a fight, I didn't have my control because there's too much pressure. People screaming and I want to perform and I want to be good. I want to do this. And I put too much pressure on myself. Now, thankfully, I was very blessed with being very powerful. So I knocked just a lot of guys out. That was okay. But a really good guy would have been a problem for me. And that's completely changed once I went to Japan. Because in Japan, I found out there was no weight classes on the day of the fight. So now my opponent is 32 pounds heavier. And then I found out there's only one round and I'm all happy. How many minutes? And he goes 30. I go 30 minutes. So now I'm facing a guy who's 32 pounds heavier in a 30-minute fight. So I knew that I wouldn't go ballistic and go crazy because if I can't put him away the first minute, I got 29 more minutes to go.
Yeah.
So that's what I became. And suddenly I was the fighter like I was the training. Now, this is good sports, but imagine this. Imagine you're a lawyer and you have to go to a court case and your client's life depends on your opening statement and maybe on your closing statement. And I bet you in the mirror, we all are great actors. It's very simple, but do it under pressure. And if somebody's life is depending on it, it's going to be a lot of pressure. Now he needs to be completely normal, completely relaxed. Now, the good thing about it is in the beginning, and always like you're fighting, you're nervous, but you get used to it. And once you start getting used to it and you don't put too much pressure on yourself, it's going to be okay. And it's the same with the lawyer. But if the lawyer is new to his job and he has right away a big case, like it's a lot of stress. Let's go to surgeons. Same thing there, right? It's easy to do it on a corpse.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Person. If you make a mistake, he dies, whatever. That's a lot of pressure. So everything is about, can you control your emotions? If you can be the same person as you are in preparing for whatever you do, you're going to be good. And that's why the trick is, the trap. The trap is for a lot of people, alcohol. Because if they drink a few glasses of alcohol, they feel a little looser. Now they're more their own and they start acting. And hey, it works. And that's the trap. Because then they believe that, oh, the alcohol was the reason that I did it correctly.
Outside influence.
Now you start taking 2 drinks. Those 2 drinks become 3 drinks. Because for the same effect, we need more. Every time it's addiction, right? And then suddenly, that's why you see a lot of actors struggling with opioids and struggling with alcohol and other drugs. Is because of, in the beginning, they did it. You see this in fighting. You see some fighters who started fighting as, let's say, an amateur and already started using performance-enhancing drugs. If you start winning and you just started using performance-enhancing drugs, in your mind, you're telling yourself, performance-enhancing drugs are the reason I'm going to win. I'm winning, which is not the case. It's your technique. It's your determination. That's it. And once they are, and now they get stopped, now they get found out in the urine test, they found out that they were cheating, and suddenly they have to fight without it. Now they can't fight without it anymore. Because they think they're going to win. And then you see these guys go, and everybody's crashing because they can't use the performance enhancing drugs anymore because in their mind, they gave those drugs too much power. It's you who's doing it. Performance enhancing drugs has nothing to do with fighting. I actually believe if you're using performance enhancing drugs, you're already very insecure about yourself. You're not happy with yourself.
Yeah.
That's why else would you use it. I was 28 when I started fighting. That's late. That's a very late freaking age. And I didn't need it. How is it possible that I never needed them and they can do light detecting tests? I take any test.
Mind.
But that's freaking little, your kids are already taking them. It's just a bad example. And everybody says a stupid thing. Oh, but everybody's doing it. Yeah, come on, guys. That's like throwing something out of the window, like trash. Everybody's doing it. Stupid. I hate that.
Follow the followers. Follow the followers. So the thing is, what you said is very interesting and in alignment to what we do as well. Creating that calmness in mind, meaning taking control of the mind. You are able to take control of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, becoming more self-aware. By doing so, you can create that calmness in a very tense situation or in a very calm situation. It's always the same. So that is a superpower when you can actually be calm in a stressful situation.
In Japan, they had this really great kanji, and it said Fugoshin. And I had these really badass rims on a cool car that I had one time and had that logo on it. And it means immovable mind. And that for a fighter is everything. So whatever outside is going on, maybe somebody just passed away in the family, there's stress. At the moment you're going to have to fight, there's an immovable mind. You're not affected by anything. You have one focus. And then it's the focus. Now, nowadays,
that's awesome.
With our distractions, we can never get there anymore. I truly believe you hear these people from all the way back, thousands of years back, to literally stop somebody from falling in the air. And now we're all going to go, that's bull. That's not true. I truly believe it is. I think it is because there's some people crazy out there. What's this? The Indian yoga master, Amri, his name will probably pop up in a little bit. This guy could raise his heart rate to 300 beats a minute. He could on command
body temperature,
like oxygen was to the middle part of his hand, and this would be dark red, and then the rest would be white. This guy had such an amazing control over his mind and where he was sending his air, his oxygen to. It was bizarre. But that's what I always say. People do this now. People who live here, who have phones, who are distracted the whole time by this, because that's why this thing is made, to distract us. And to let us buy stuff that we don't need. That's why it's invented. And it's stupid if you just use it as a phone. You have a much better life. Trust me. There's this boxing world champion right now, this lady. I think she's 21. She doesn't have a phone, doesn't have a computer, doesn't have anything. And that's why she's performing so well. And she says it. She says all that stuff and dating and guys, all that stuff, I will do that once my career is over. Right now, I got one focus, and that's the career. And that should be a
That's awesome. I love the way you think, Bas. Your mindset is completely in alignment to what I believe as well. Is what we call the inside out rather than the outside in. The outside can always be up and down, right? It's raining outside, it's storm outside, but you are living from inside out, meaning your perception is from in out. So the outside doesn't have control over you. That means you basically took your power back. And what you're talking about is phenomenal. Like it's music to my ears.
It is very hard though, because there's still stupid things.
You got to go through training.
Yeah, but it's the little things. It's the little vices. It's the extra cup of coffee every day. And then you do it's 5 cups of coffee. Why do you need 5 cups of coffee? It's the little tobacco pouches I use sometimes when I travel. Why would I do that? It's not necessary. No, but somehow when I do it, I like to do it. And those are little things. I understand that.
Yeah.
There's still little vices. There's still little things that grab you. And then let's go over emotions. How is you control your emotions? If I see a person on the street and he throws a can out of his car, I get emotional. If I have the chance, if the car is so slowed down, I will tell him to pick it up. I can't stand people like that. But it's not my business. So I should simply say, what are you doing? I just like going.
Just going to the gym for our body and working out and doing fighting on a regular basis to strengthen. The same way we were gifted with higher mental faculties, our will, imagination, reason, intuition, right? Memory, perception. You can actually strengthen them on a regular basis, working out your mind, make it so strong that you are able to control the outside influences, right? But it requires training like anything else.
If you want to be a tough guy or a tough lady, I highly suggest buy the book from David Goggins. You Can't Hurt Me. Read that. And then I've been a crazy guy in my life. In training, I would push myself to crazy limits. And if I miss, like for instance, I don't do one round on the back, and let's say I told myself I'm going to do 10 rounds, but I did only 9. Whoa, I come home and then I have to go back to the gym and do 5 more.
Determined.
Right? That's what my mind always was. Now, if you read David Goggins, he was talking about the same thing because we have a lot of similarities. Only he does it here and I do it here. And he couldn't do the last 2 pull-ups. And he goes home and then he goes back and he does a 250 extra pull-ups. But that's how he trains his mind. He puts, he says, calluses on his mind. That's what he says.
Becoming
you can
determined.
train it, you can make it stronger.
Yes.
But he threw that word strong to a new level.
New level. Wow, man. Bas, it's been amazing having you on the show. It's just great talking to you about all this stuff. And you're an inventor, so I know you're going to be coming up with new things. Definitely reach out to me, and I'm going to follow you on social media, and I'll be keeping an eye on your content. So if there's anything that we can help with in the future, please do come back on the show. We'll love to spread your message once again. Appreciate you. So if there's any final words you want to share with the audience, please go ahead.
No, I just always say, be true to your word. Whatever you say, whatever you tell yourself that you're going to do today, do it. Because every time you don't do it in the evening, you became a little weaker. And it's going to be easier to say no. Every time when you say no, the next day it's easier to say no. You got to break that habit. And you got to say, no, I'm going to do it. Like, for instance, to training. I do this every day for the last 5 years. How many times I missed? Maybe 50, 50, but that's over 5 years. So if I have a habit, I have a habit. I do certain prayers and meditation. How many times a day? Every day. Since 2015, every day. Never missed one? Never missed one. So you build a habit and you stay on that habit if it's a good habit. Because as easy as it is to acquire a good habit, that's how easy it is to lose that habit again. I give an example with these kids that I always do talks to from when they go from high school to college. My first question is always, who of you woke up this morning from the alarm clock, hit the snooze button, 10 minutes later, hit the snooze button, 10 minutes later, hit the snooze, and did this 5, 6 times. And it's a shocker. 85% of the hands go up. And I say, that's the dumbest habit on the planet. Because that last hour, you didn't sleep anymore. You fall asleep, you wake up. You fall asleep, you wake up. The smart thing would be to put your alarm clock tonight when you're in bed, 1 hour later. So you have an extra full hour of sleep. And then you tell yourself before you go to sleep, once I wake up, I sit up right away and I walk out of bed. And that's going to be difficult the first 2, 3, 4 times. And then suddenly it becomes easy. Easier. And suddenly 10 days in, it's a new habit. It's the easiest thing. Now you broke a bad habit and you make it into a good habit. Now this you can do with anything in life. You just have to do it. And pick one. If you have 10 problems, don't try to fix them 10 at the same time. Pick one that you want to fix first. Fix that one first. Once it's fixed, go to number 2. But don't try them all because that's not going to work. Trust, you're talking to a guy who has ADD and who is a super highly, addictive personality with everything. You won't see me gamble. You won't see me drink. You won't see me because I know where I can go. I can go push this limit. If what is good, 5 is better. That's my mindset. So I got to really watch out. So if I used all these tricks during my life in order to stop all that craziness that I used to do in the past, I'm pretty sure it will work for you as well. But you're going to have to work for it. It's not easy. Not in this life that we're in right now with all the distractions. So I wish everybody really the best. And don't assume things, guys. That's another thing that I say. That's the last one thing I'm going to say. Don't assume that you know the situation. Make sure before you make a comment or act on something that you know 100% what goes on. And I give you this example. If I'm on the top of the roof and some camera crew is filming me and these kids are standing there, these little kids, they're crying, they're like 8 years old, and they're crying and screaming, and I grab them and I throw them off a building. And I keep throwing them off a building. You will put a bullet in my hand. But then suddenly the camera pans out. And then we realize the building is on fire. And downstairs is the fireman. And I'm throwing these kids to safety on those big freaking pillows that they have. So 10 seconds ago, you want to shoot me in the head. But now you knew the whole truth, and now suddenly I'm a hero. That's a big difference there. And we have this, oh, there's somebody cuts you off on the freeway. Oh, what he's an ass, she's an ass. Could be a Nobel Prize winning physicist. Could be a guy who just had a phone call that his wife is in the hospital and he's racing to the hospital. If you don't understand the situation, don't act on it. That's a big one, because in politics, look right now, a lot of people are doing that. That's why we get so crazy. We all believe that we are right, we are right, we are right. We're screaming at other people who we think are wrong, and it drives this country apart. And we need to stop that.
Very good. Well said, boss. I love the way you think, man. And these things all come with self-awareness. When we become more aware, we are aware of making the commitments and keeping them, having our awareness broaden enough to look at the big picture, not assume at the very minute of what is visible at the moment. So everything that you're sharing is right to home. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you're doing for people. Because if you're doing this on your tour, on podcasts and stuff, you're doing a great service for people.
You're very welcome, my friend. I'm trying to push it out. I got a lot of friends, and they all get the same spiel from me. And everybody's changing their lives, because it changed me so much for the better that I'm just trying to my friends to say, try this, man, because it really works. Your life is going to be so much better once you know everything is in order and you don't have anything. When you go to sleep, there's no thought in your mind, I shouldn't have done what I did a couple hours ago. No, if you're completely free of all the crap, you're going to be a happy person as well. This is the problem with now. We always mix up pleasure with happiness. We think that pleasure, which are earthly things, so to say, which is buying crap that we don't need, are giving us happiness, but it doesn't. That's a thing that's a hole you can never fill. Happiness only comes from living different and detach yourself from all the crazy things. I drove the Porsche. I had these expensive suits and the watches and all that stuff. I all got rid of it. Everything. Just be normal. Get your own stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're a freaking millionaire and you like a beautiful car, get the freaking car. But if it's a car that you don't look at the payment and you go, that's stupid what I'm doing, why are you driving it? If you have the money for it, please do. But if you have to struggle in order to have these things, don't do it, man. It's a waste of money. If I could go back in time, that money would have been saved. I guarantee you that. And don't get me wrong, I had great time in those cars. They were freaking awesome. Never had a bad problem. But still, you get older and you start realizing,
definitely.
I could have done things different.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful, boss. Appreciate you, and definitely keep in touch.
You're welcome, my friend.
Audience, thank you so much for joining us for another episode. Boss's information will be in the show notes. You know, that last part, I don't know if you picked up on it, is the order, creating order in your life. My late mentor used to say, order is heaven's first law. If you create order in the mind, you start experiencing that order around you in the outside. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for helping us grow. And we'll see you next time on our show. Thank you. And boss, thank you so much, my friend.
Godspeed, Shades. Thank you.